Hello, everybody. There I am, a little time. Yes. Now I'm going to make room for my. There we go. Switch sides. Switch cameras. Swap cameras. There we go. I like to be right in the middle. See you later,
It's
Facebook.
11:30.
Facebook. 1 minute, and Facebook has hit the road. Just downloaded a new version of the software. I thought it was gonna. Sometimes Facebook hangs in there, right? With the whole deal. Sometimes not. So. And I've been just watching a whole series of shots from Back to the Future. Artemis 2. A friend of mine's son-in-law works for NASA. And within 24 hours of blast off, maybe, about 20 hours. Those of you looking up the launch stand. So we're looking into this. This is the flash where the exhaust goes. It's hydrogen and oxygen, so you don't have a lot of extra carbon. There ain't no carbon. H2 and O. Damn. H2O. Yeah. But look what it's done to the runway. The flameway. It's a close-up of it. You got the reinforcing iron under there. I don't know what that material is, but peeled away. It's like, the waves of incredible heat were not constant. Or it's the material. And now you think to do about thicker layer, like 12 inches thick. I put 10,000 pound, 10,000 psi concrete here with some river rock. See what happens. You have to put expansion joints, every 6 feet. Because of the tremendous heat. And this little crack and buckle up. Anyway, that's interesting. Couple of shots there. Son sent us a picture of his patio. His little dog is taking a nap in the sun. This was the cover of the New York Post. America returns to the orbit around the moon. Too many words. The promise of NASA's Apollo mission returned in spectacular fashion. A friend that's kind of built a new house in Titus now. I provided the finance. $2.2 million. Yeah, bad. This is a picture he took from the back patio. Yeah. That stanchion over on the right side. This is the blast off is 39B. That's pad 39A right there. Yeah. But SpaceX has leased and is building its stanchion to hold the rocket. And to catch the second stage when they get to that point. Thursday. Yeah, this is late night Thursday, 11:36 p.m. So, in 20 minutes, it's gonna be Friday. And you know what Friday is? Tuesday, Friday. Friday. April 3rd. Yeah. Comes a $90 million jackpot. I don't have my tickets yet. Yeah. So what I'm displaying here, I can get off. There we go. There we go. Right there. So that's, now I can zoom in. That's better. So bottom line, roll over. Those numbers haven't been picked yet, obviously. So if you decided to pick the lump sum, net present value equals the future value, the value of the future cash flows. Yeah. These are prior winnings with the green dot. Otherwise, it's the yellow dot. So we're on a first, second, third, fourth, fifth. Should be number 5 over here, yeah? See the 5 all the way over here. There's a 6. Oops. 5. Yeah. Remember, to win this, it's a 290 million to 1 shot. It's like getting stricken by lightning. As a matter of fact, there's a greater chance of getting hit by lightning. Anyway, it's 90 million. This is the 6th attempt. to see if someone can get the right numbers. I am in no way a lottery official. I don't work for any lotteries, never have worked for any lotteries. This is just Jimmy's own personal spreadsheet sitting on my iPad here. And I've created this nice spreadsheet so I could display this stuff for you. So the column captions and all this stuff, you see in the very top, in italic, pentameter, lump sum payout, after-tax payout, and dollar values are estimate produced by the author, yours truly. All data presented have not been confirmed nor endorsed by any lottery. That's it. That'd be the truth, baby. So I'm doing this just, I'm good to the nearest 100,000. Yeah. I'm a math guy, so I know how to, do a little bit of this. 40,700,000. So if you were a single winner of the $90 million lot, on your tax return, you'd put 40,700,000. That's actually your winning. That's your income. Put that right in there in TurboTax. See if it starts to smoke. And the government takes, the long arm of the government has reached Tallahassee, and anything over $600 is subject to a 24% withholding tax. So the column that says 30,932,000, rounded to the nearest thousand, is what's left after the government withholds 24%. So if the government takes 24%, what do you got left? 76%. 76% of 40,000,700 is 30,932,000. That's how I get that number. That's not the end of it. If you were a single grand prize winner of a $90 million Mega Millions lottery, you're probably in the top tax bracket. So you'd owe another 13%, but you're actually going to get into your TD bank account a deposit of 30,932,000. Can you imagine? Bam, all of a sudden it hits your checkbook. I suggest you call the branch manager wherever your account is held, created, your local TD branch, if it happens to be TD, and say, oh, by the way, I won the Mega Millions lottery, and there's going to be a $30 million deposit. It's not a typo. A little over 30 million, okay? It's going to show up tonight. So that's what goes in your bank account. But you're going to owe $5,291,000 because that is, get here to the column heading, the lump sum payout subject to 37% tax plus additional federal tax of 13%. See, they withheld 24, but you have to pay 13 more. 24 plus 13 is 37. So you're going to get 30,932,000 put in your account, but you're going to owe another 5,291,000. I suggest you put that in the side pocket right away. So now you got 25,641. That 5,291 is going to sit in the side pocket. You can open up a 4% interest-bearing account. Truist is offering such an account. I don't know if they'd be willing to do that for 5,291, but if they do, put it in there. See if TD Bank has a 4% savings account for you.
It's 11:45.
You should leave the money in there about a year. This is April. You're going to do your taxes April 15th, in which you're going to wire transfer or some names deliver 5,291 to the IRS. Yeah. And if you don't take, you have to back up. If you elect, if you intend to take the lump sum, you have to tell the lottery within 60 days of the draw date. That's the rules. If you don't, then when you show up, you're going to get $1,354,000. That's the initial payment under your annuity. 1 year and a day from now, you're going to get a deposit of $1,422,000. And the year after that, your payment is going to be 5% greater than $1,422,000. So, another 70 or 80,000 added to that, and $1,500,000, $1,600,000. Yeah. So you get this check day one, and then you get 29 more checks. That would be the second check. Just happen to show that on here. Annual annuity, the first payment. Boy, that's a calculation that'll make the question, math solves questions. If I were going to give $90 million to somebody, and I was going to put it in a 5% growing annuity, which means that every year the payment is 5% greater than the one before, what would be the initial payment? So when you add up the 30 payments, it adds up to $90 million exactly. That initial payment is right there. That's it. Rounded to the nearest dollar. That's a pretty good calculation. I should show you the equation for that. Not today. I don't. It's hard to hunt down. I have it in a picture file. It's a nasty calculation. But I finally took me 2 weeks to get the equation, put the numbers in, make sure it works, and then to write, to edit, write the equation in numbers in Excel. Numbers is the Excel if you're in the Apple iOS system. The app is called Numbers. So that's what happens Friday, which is about 24 hours from now. 23 hours and 48 minutes from now. Since it's 11:49 p.m. So we're up to 90 million. Rollover. Yeah. That's what they call it. When no one won the 80 million. Rolls over to 90. And if 90 happened, these are the numbers. All I got to do is put the numbers in there, which I grabbed that from the lottery app. I'll show you the other pictures. See, they published the numbers. They told me that it rolls over to 90 million. That's how I know. The drawings are Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday, Tuesday, Friday. So since Tuesday was March 31, Friday be up April 3rd for Mega Millions. So I only have to hassle with the spreadsheet twice a week. So I go right into, I take those numbers and I do a print screen. And I diddle with them a little bit to make them brighter so that the white looks white in the spreadsheet, and just pop it in there. Here are the settings I have. Yeah, it's brighter. So what I do now is I go to the spreadsheet, the numbers, right in. I'm going to do it for you. It's loading. Hopefully. Here it goes. There it is. And expand a little bit. So what I'm going to do is ditch this cut it. Pew. So now it's gone. Now I'm going to go to the picture files. Whoops. Let me just click that. So we go back. You can see they're just they're lined up in my picture files. I took it off this page. There it is. Now see the box in the top, or there's an arrow up right underneath the sugar tape. There's a box. There you go. See, next to the heart. Touch that. Bingo. And down the bottom it says copy. I've copied it. Now I go back to the spreadsheet and I just touch that box and I say paste it. Are you going to allow paste? Yeah. Bingo. There it is. Looks good. Looks better. Yep. I'm done. So those are the numbers on March 31. The lottery app told me 90 million is the rollover. And then everything else is formulas in the spreadsheet. And underneath this one is a huge equation. There it is. You can see it on the bottom there. It starts with round. Round column C40. It's 40 rows down in this big spreadsheet. ABC, the third column. That's why it's C40. And you see it's highlighted in like blue or purple. And then we got that equation right underneath 1,003,054. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah. And then this equation is really simple because it's just 105% bigger than 1,003,054, which makes it 1,422. And then this column is 5% bigger than 1,422. And it goes on that way, going this way, to the point where you get up to the 15th payment, 16th. Look at all these, there's 29 payments. Yeah, that bottom right there, 4,000,003. The payments get big. So with that $90 million lottery, see 90 million? Now, with my calculations, and remember, I'm rounding up and down depending on, if it's, we can't pay tenths of a penny. So I've added all those across, and it adds up to $90,006. So I'm off by $6. Not bad. So why isn't it exact? Because you round 0.49 of a penny down. And if it's 0.50 or greater, you round up. At least that's how I did the spreadsheet. You can't pay tenths of a penny, so you got to do something with it when you're calculating it. So since 0.50 is bigger than 0.49, most of the time it comes out slightly higher. So the last payment there, instead of 5,575,839, it would be 833. You just adjust the last payment and they'll come out to 90 million exactly. If this was the official numbers for the lottery, which it is not, that's how you just pay along according to the numbers you got in here. And just take that $5,575,000 payment and deduct $6, so that way the lottery would be paying you 90 million exactly. And of all the lotteries I've calculated here, they're mostly black numbers. There's an occasional red, which means an underpayment. There's a $303 million rollover if someone won it, which no one did actually. But the payments that I have here, $13 under. So instead of, you see, if we just compare the two, instead of 3,000,003, it's 3,002,99998. So missed it by $13. So the last payment, right there, of 18 million something or other. Yeah, just add $13 to it, and that would bring that up to 303. That's it. That's how you fix that. So I draw a line underneath every grand prize. So on March 10th, somebody won $533 million in cash. If over 30 payments, if they take the annuity, the 5% growing annuity. you take the lump sum, back over here to the lump sum numbers. Yeah, that's that one right there. The lump sum would be 241 million. Woo! That's a big number in your checkbook. 241 million, my God. You'd be giving your kids a big number.
It's 12 o'clock.
It's almost so big. It's midnight, baby. 10 seconds ago, turned to be midnight. We roll right through that. Along with Epidemic Sound Instrumental, our royalty-free instrumental, which I choose to have as my background melody to keep my streaming. Yeah. So here we are, we're up to 90 million. There was a time, a long time ago, where this one had 90 million. That was on December 19th. On March 17th, someone won 60 million. That's why you see the green dot there. And I drew a line, a black line, because we start over. That's how I know for sure someone won. Because if I go to Mega Millions and it shows 50 million in there, I know someone won the lottery. You got 180 days to claim your ticket. Because after 180 days, the ticket becomes null and void, and you win nothing. And all that money paid into Mega Millions just stays there as operating capital, I guess. I don't know how often that's happened. Hopefully never. Yeah, there we go. I want to get my cursor off. There you go. Yeah. I don't want to louse up my spreadsheet with this touchscreen business. Yeah, it's very. There we go. That's it. Now you see everything I see. There you go. $90 million lottery. And it's about 40,700,000. Plus or minus 100,000, yeah. What's 100,000 among friends? There's an exact number, but since I can't play exact, I have to play assumptions. You can read the column at the top. Jackpot lump sum payout before tax happens to be the net present value of the future cash flows. That's what net present value is. So it's an estimate about 40,700,000. That's what you put as your income for that year. This is if you take the lump sum. So in the 2000, if you won it this year, and you won it by yourself, and there was no other winner, if there was another winner, if there were two of you, for example, you'd split 90 million. So you'd each have $45 million jackpots. And I believe one could take the annuity and the other could take the jackpot. In which case it'd be 20,350,000. Yeah. I haven't provided for if it was half or a third. If you had three of you, you'd split 90 million in thirds. So you each have a $30 million lottery. And all the numbers that I show you divide by 3. Which I could easily do. Yeah. Yeah. Then that third column, the lottery lump sum payout after the withholding. So instead of 40, you get 30. Well, if there are three of you, you each get 10. That's basically what you do. You just divide all the numbers by 3. Yeah. I'm going to close down that numbers thing before I louse it up. Yeah, let's go back to photos. See, this is a photo. I can there you go. Collections. Favorites, that's what I want. That's an Easter bunny Marilyn got for herself and our daughter. She shipped it to Robin. She lives up in Arnold, Maryland. Arnold. King Charles walking through a chicken coop at Highgrove, which is a castle. So he's got the chicken coop, things that chickens eat, feed. Yeah, chicken feed, yeah. So he's staying busy, being king. The nice thing about, it's a full moon, by the way, on April 2nd. So it's full moon less a little today. So since this is a picture, if I touch king, it's highlighted. No, I'm gonna highlight this sentence. That's a caption on the picture. And I'm gonna press look up. So let's look up. King Charles's chicken coop at Highgrove has a name, like a nickname, that will make you do a double take. Let's see what that is. This was a Fox News, what do you call it? News article. It's looking it up. There it is. King Charles's chicken coop at Highgrove has a name that will make you double take. So now we've got to read through this. Royal photographer Chris, okay. King Charles cancer fighting, okay. Royal photographer Chris Jackson, author of Modern Majesty, shares how King Charles' cancer diagnosis shifted his perspective, deepening his connection with the public and his royal role. So he has, he has royal duties, and he checks in on his flock. In this case, it's a flock of chickens. King Charles is 77. There you go, he's feeding his chickens. He calls it Clockingham Palace. Clock, clock. How cute. You had a 16-second commercial, so you're counting up a top 14, 13, 12. You're going to see a little video. King Charles at Clockingham Palace. Here we go. His face. There we go. It's a lovely couple. Can you imagine? Look at that. Yeah, I don't want to go through all that. Anyway, that's the feature of cooking on the photograph. If you want to, you don't have to. So we'll go back to the photo album. We'll go back to favorites. There we go. That's where we were. Until we got distracted with King Charles and Clockingham Palace. A lot of stuff up in the Supreme Court. Justice. Just looking at the blast off from my friend's backyard. We tried to see a blast off up there and it didn't happen. There was supposed to be two of them. And they both got canceled for one reason or another. It's Easter, so Marilyn put an order together for stuff. Look at all this. Can you believe it?
It's 12:15.
So mommies to the two boys that live half mile away. Yes, they do. There you go. So long, Daniel Craig. The identity of the new James Bond has been revealed. And I don't know who it is, but we can highlight the story and look it up. Look how quickly we can find out. Yeah. Uh-huh. I don't see it. Oh, jeez. We're speed reading, okay? It suggests that the new guy is going to be the 28-year-old Australian actor Jacob Elordi, Elordi. The current favorite to play 007. That's not him. What does Jacob look like? That's Jesse Buckley. Maybe if I touch his name, let's see what. There he is. That's your new James Bond. He'd be the youngest. All right, well, you've heard it here. I don't have a picture of him, but I do. Bingo. Jacob Elordi, about to become the youngest and tallest James Bond yet. Okay, they like tall. How tall? Of course, they don't tell you. Stupidness. All right, back to focus. That's how you use if you ever have an article or some picture with a headline like that, you can look up the story. You can go to Flipboard. That's an app. Flipboard is where these articles were reviewed and where I made these screenshots for your enjoyment. There's a missile or a bomb that didn't go off. I don't think I'd stand anywhere near it. You're lucky to trigger it and go boom. Trouble left. What's going on? There we go. That is some picture. It just didn't go off. Uncle Sam needs you. The rewards program. Whistleblowers get up to 30% of the scammer's fines. The scammer will be indicted and convicted, presumably. And if you were the whistleblower, this is the Treasury Department. Scott Bessent says is launching a new program today that will reward tipsters up to 30% of the fines imposed on criminals who are trying to bleed the U.S. taxpayers dry, stealing money, fraudulent schemes. Yep. We did the lottery ad nauseum. Here's the 4 people that went up in space. They're on their way to the moon. It takes 6 days to get there at 25,000 miles an hour. It's 6 days. Do the math. What's 25,000 miles an hour? You got to go 25,000 miles an hour. That's called the escape velocity. So at a precise time, you ignite your engine, turn your engines on. So that propels you forward, and you're kind of going around the Earth at a certain altitude, and you're increasing your miles. And they've picked the right spot when to turn the engines on, because you're coming around the corner, and because you want to end up heading towards the moon. Yeah. They can steer it in case. I can't imagine how they would calculate that incorrectly. It's all relatively simple math formulas. You got the centripetal, they call it centripetal acceleration of the Earth. 17,400 and whatever miles per hour is the orbital velocity. And if you increase the velocity, it becomes a bigger orbit. And if you keep increasing it, you just go up into a direction outside of the Earth's gravitational pull. Whereas your forward motion becomes, the gravitational pull is still effective, but it decreases as you get further away from Earth. It's less of a factor. And then after a while, you become under the influence of the moon's gravitational pull. It's 1/6 of Earth's gravitational pull, presumably, because the mass, I've been told that the size of the moon is about 1/6 of Earth. Assuming it has the same density, it would have a gravitational pull, but a smaller gravitational pull. Yep. So as you spot a place orbiting the moon, and there's a point at which the centripetal acceleration is identical to the gravitational pull. And I don't know in miles an hour what that is. It's, relatively easy to calculate. So that's how that's done. Toyota's new electric sedan is huge, high-tech, and cheaper than a Chevy Bolt. Yeah, Toyota knows how to do these things. Looks pretty nice. It's got that Tesla nose cone looking thing up in the front. There's an airline that only offers business class seats. The whole airplane is business class, which is 2 seats on this side of the aisle, 2 seats on that side of the aisle. There's no middle seat. The seats are a little bit wider, more comfortable. You can look that story up. There we go. Look it up. How nice is that, huh? Look it up on the web. It didn't pop up immediately. Let's look at, so here's Google. And you can pick your poison here. I'm going to hit AI mode. And it's going to go through, 50 websites and give you meet the airline that only offers business class flights. And see what's inside. So you do that, I can hit images up here. And I'll show you all the images that they picked up. Look at the ones that have to do with seating. See inside the long haul business class. There you go. Yeah. Big announcement. United has a new 787 business class jet. Have to get it. Oh gosh. Touchscreen. There you go. Here's the.
It's 12:30.
Yeah. That's the jet. Big kickoff campaign this week. This player is 7'9" tall. I mean, that's pretty big. He just reaches up and put the ball in the rim. It's just a little tiny jump, maybe 6 inches off, you know. A gentleman that's 6'9" tall has got to have a 3-foot arm, you think? Right? That makes it 10 foot tall. You just run under the basket. Make the basket. All right. It's 12:30. I think it's time to say goodnight. Shake up at the Department of Justice. Got rid of Pam Biondi. I can't believe that. I know. I thought Pete Hegseth would be the first to go. It's Pam Biondi, who's an outstanding lawyer. Trump is caving into pressure. She's like him. He's shaking stuff up. Yeah. So the second in command will take over for her. Hydrocodone. That's what Wiz was probably hopped up on. There's my little doggy taking a nap in a box. loves the little box. Right behind here. Yep. She's curled up, asleep in her little box. It's hard not to take a picture of it. I just woke her up. I got a picture I'll show you. I have to change the to this recent. It's not saved yet. There we go. Should be in favorites. There it is. Takes a while to get in there. Updates all the. So I'm going to rotate this around so we can get perspective on this silly. Yeah. There we go. We're looking straight down at this little pup. Okay. 5 in color. Turn it a little bit. Like that. Use this tool. There we go. Like that. Line up that edge down there. That's pretty close up there. Perspective control here. There we go. You can tell it's a box. Now we'll go to adjust and brighten this up a little bit. Yeah. There's that little pup right there. Wiggling around. She's still there. Yep. She went back to sleep. And we can tell this is authentic. See, today, 12:34 a.m. Yep, there we go. 12:34 a.m. April 3rd. We got a JPEG image, 6 megapixel image, 3,000 pixels by 2,000 pixels in round numbers. All right. And with that, I'm going to say goodnight. You all have a good, this is Friday midnight, 12:39 a.m. Episode number 583. That's kind of hard to believe, huh? 583 episodes. So we're going to say goodnight. Have a great later today, tomorrow. Depending on whether you stayed up all night, you're an insomniac, or you work all night, and it just turns into tomorrow. Remember, tomorrow is yesterday's today. Bye-bye.